we'll show that off for sure. Yeah.
All right.
Start there. I guess you can't hear it, but there's some.
I'm sure it's awesome.
Some pretty guitar music in the background.
Nice.
Setting the stage. You know, we got to get in the mood here.
Yeah, that's right.
Sun's creeping up on me too. I got to move here.
Yeah, you're gonna get a nice tan.
I try to avoid that sun. All right, here we go. All right, welcome back to Okayest Cook Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Whonsetler, still coming at you live from BHA Rendezvous here in Missoula. And I'm sitting down with Blake from Velvet Buck Vineyards. Blake, how are you?
So good, man. Thanks for having us.
Heck yeah, dude. We met 2 days ago?
Yeah.
Was that Thursday?
Field to Table.
Thursday, the Field to Table event. You'll notice a theme here. A lot of my rendezvous talks are all surrounding this Field to Table event. We're Okayest Cook. We need to talk to people who know how to cook.
That's right.
We haven't had a wine discussion yet. I am very new to wine. No, I'm not new to wine. I just don't know anything about wine. And I tried yours at the dinner, and it was exquisite. First thing, obviously, that caught my eye was the branding. God, let me see this bottle. Look at this bottle. This is sexy as hell. It's Velvet Buck, and the label is literally velvety.
That's right.
And the black and the gold just does it for me. I mean, that's when I buy wine because the labels look cool.
Well, as much as we care about what goes into a bottle, it's really all that matters. I mean, if you got an ugly label, nobody's going to reach for it. So
people eat with their
it.
eyes. They drink with their eyes. So branding is critical.
Yeah.
And you hit it out of the park.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely love. So if I knew nothing about this, walking through Meijer, Kroger, whatever, like looking for wine, that's where I do my wine shopping at the grocery stores. I saw that on the shelf. I would buy it in a heartbeat. Just from your label.
We did something right.
Your graphic designer,
I can sleep well.
Give him a raise.
Thank you very much.
But yeah, not being a big wine guy, I gravitate towards the IPAs and the bourbons.
Right.
But I tried some, on a whim, and it was good.
Yeah.
Typically, I like the harsher flavors, so like the dry reds is kind of where I gear towards. I stay away from like the fruity whites,
right?
Kind of things like that. I don't even know what's in your bottle.
Yeah.
So do you want to give us a little background on you and the vineyard and the brand?
So I grew up in a little town in Northern California called Benicia, and it's about 20 miles south of Napa Valley. And my first paid job, I was 17 years old, and I actually worked a harvest. So I spent all summer up in Healdsburg, California, at a really small winery operation called Mantra. And now I was 17. I had no palate for wine, but spending a summer just immersed in it, seeing what goes into making a bottle of wine, I more fell in love with the process, the culture, and just the people that kind of come with the wine industry. Yeah. And so after that experience, I knew that I wanted to dedicate my career to just being involved in the wine business somehow. So I only applied to schools that offered a wine and viticulture degree.
Okay.
Which actually exists.
I did not know that was a thing.
So the big schools are UC Davis, Fresno State, Washington State, and then Cal Poly. Okay. So I applied to all of them. I got into Cal Poly and accepted and spent my 4 years there and interned at a lot of different vineyards all throughout California, mostly in the Central Coast and in Napa. But found this awesome company. I worked for Craig and Nancy Stoller, who owns Sextant Wines and Paris Valley Road Estate Winery, and started working for them about 7 years ago. And have been selling Sextant and Paris Valley Road as their national sales manager. And Craig, our owner, and myself love to hunt. Nice. Like when we're not working, we're hunting or fishing. So our goal with Velvet Buck was to make a wine that was really targeting kind of the outdoor community. And it was really easy to do because we just put ourselves in our own shoes and marketed to ourselves when we came up with the label and really the whole ethos of the brand. So my biggest pet peeve is, when a brand, no matter if it's a beer company or a whiskey company, when they just slap camouflage label on a bottle and expect hunters to flock to it. So we wanted to come up with a brand that was...
It works a little bit.
It works. I mean, I'm guilty of it. When the Bush Light camouflage comes out, I'm going to buy it. But we wanted to come up with a brand that was a little bit deeper than that. And again, just adopted the ethos of a responsible hunter and sportsman.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
So we knew we needed to have a why behind the brand and something that, would motivate us to get up out of bed in the morning.
Yes.
And that's how we got connected with backcountry hunters and anglers, because every bottle that gets sold and every case that gets sold and leaves our warehouse, we're going to donate to BHA as long as we're making Velvet Buck.
Awesome.
We're also partnering with Meat Eater on this, and we're really counting on Meat Eater's audience to help get the messaging of Velvet Buck across. And I think it's a little three-headed monster that we've created between Meat Eater, BHA, and what we're doing. But we're excited about it. But that's kind of the background.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, I mean you're on track. I mean you're connected with the right people.
Awesome.
I'd say so. Especially BHA. Like I said, just if public lands don't exist, we don't get to do the cool things we do.
Yeah.
So
amen.
We're there. Well, let's talk a little bit about what you put in the bottle.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
But like you said, the label's good, so it doesn't even matter.
Yes.
No, but so we wanted to make a wine, and like on our back label, and we wanted it to be a Swiss Army knife for the wild game cook. So we wanted it to be bold enough to where it could stand up to, a nice fatty bison steak. But we really want it to be, venison, bison, duck breasts, even grilled salmon.
Ooh,
and I know a lot of people are scared to pair red wine with salmon or fish because somebody told them not to.
Okay.
But that's the best part about food and wine pairings is there's no wrong answers.
Yeah.
You just got to do some trial and error on your own. But
I mean, everyone does have their own personal palates that they need to discover themselves. But there are some general pairing rules.
Right.
And it's an art form, so rules are in air quotes.
Exactly. It's an art form.
Learn them before you break them.
But trial and error.
Yeah.
And there's really no wrong answers. If it's a food that you love and a wine that you love, odds are it's probably going to work.
If it makes you happy, keep doing it.
That's right. So a little bit about the juice. So we actually farm and own 330 acres in South Monterey County, which is about a 45-minute drive from Paso Robles going north. But we grow a little bit of everything there. But what made it into the final blend of Velvet Buck, it's primarily Syrah with a little bit of Petite Syrah, Cabernet, and just a little bit of Zinfandel. So we've got a really well-rounded blend. And, each varietal kind of brings something different to the party. But we tasted probably 50 different variations of this wine before we decided on a blend. And a lot of that just had to be with, we wanted something food-friendly and something that wasn't going to overpower whatever it is on your dinner plate. But again, something that is very, very versatile.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's awesome on its own, but if you are lucky enough to have some venison backstrap in your freezer, we did confirm that the pairing works quite well.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's again, they were at the field to table dinner, and I was behind the scenes, so I wasn't up.
Well, you made our wine look good that
dinner,
night. So.
Dude, it was not hard. It was not hard. They had bottles at each table, right? So basically for every course, your wine was an option.
That's right.
And I tried the wine beforehand, and it's been a day and a half or so, and that was a bit of a night. So if memory serves, it's definitely on. It's leaning a little sweet, but it's not too sweet.
Yeah, and that's a really. Something that's really interesting about red wine is even though we fermented this to almost bone dry, I think it's 5 grams per liter of sugar that is in the wine, which when you really think about it is not a lot.
Okay.
So in a whole liter, it's 5 grams. But because of where the vineyard sits and just kind of that natural fruit characteristic that's coming from the Zinfandel and some of the other blenders that we're using, you get a lot of fruit that gives it that perception of sweetness without really being sweet.
Copy that. Yeah.
And at that dinner, the the spicy Chinese salad. Yes. It's not often that you can pair a drier red wine with spicy food. Yeah. But because there is that little something there, that sweetness does kind of knock down anything spicy that you throw at it.
Yeah.
So
in my opinion, that fruit and meat are awesome combo. especially like I said, duck breast. Like,
Yeah.
This
With like
I'm
a
really
berry
excited.
compote on a duck breast.
Dude, I want to make some compote out of this.
There we
Like,
go.
use that as the acid in the compote.
We'll make it
apple
happen.
cider. So that, I think, that with the Meat Eater has an awesome chutney recipe.
Yeah.
Green apples, cherries, honey, some Velvet Buck.
Could work.
Let's take that, put that on top of a goose or a duck breast, and I'll be on cloud
I'm
nine.
sold.
So.
Yeah.
we'll try it out. We'll try it out and report back.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, definitely that fruity characteristic. I mean, I think that really helps amp up a meal that's, typically, like if you're an average dude like me cooking steak, like it's going to be, like there's not a lot of complex flavors going on. It's meat on a plate, sometimes with a potato.
Yep.
There might be a vegetable on the table or not. But like this is going to add that little bit of a variety, to that.
Right.
That
And that, I think
taste.
wine,
Yeah.
I think a lot more people would really enjoy wine if they kind of thought of it as an extra ingredient to whatever they're
it
eating.
is. Yeah.
I think it can really elevate whatever's on your plate, no matter what it is.
Definitely, yeah. Well, do you have any other pairing notes?
Gosh.
Like what else? I mean, it sounds like it's going to go well with
Yeah.
just about everything. And
Yeah.
that meal was super diverse, like you said, as far as like
It really was.
the cultures that were represented, but also the game. Like we had pheasant and some pork products and some fish and some venison. Like it was all over the board. And
Yeah.
this was the only wine there, right?
That's right. Yeah, we had a Grenache Blanc that we sent a couple cases over under our Sextant label, which is more of kind of just a, that to me is anything out of the ocean, the Grenache Blanc's going to work.
Okay.
But Velvet Buck really, it laid down for 18 months in a mix of French and American oak. And so that kind of brings in any spicy characteristic that you're getting from the wine or any baking spice. Like to me, I get a lot of like cinnamon and clove.
Oh, yeah.
That's coming from the barrel. So that's kind of another layer to the wine. And I know I'm very biased, so I think this will pair with anything, but I'm sure there's a lot of things out there that it wouldn't work with. But I think,
I'm trying to think. I mean, if anything, maybe fish, like you mentioned earlier.
But roasted salmon, it works. But
yeah.
maybe a little bit
go.
more delicate fish, maybe not.
But like with Jeff's dish, like he did the walleye on top of quinoa and olives, and I think that again, it's like he had a very, it was a savory kind of what's the olive flavor, kind of vinegary, more savory,
almost like a tapenade sort of thing.
So like not any kind of like fruity sweetness in his dish. So I think that would bring that balance to that walleye. So again, a great combination, I would say.
Right.
So
I appreciate it. Trying to think what else we need to hit on Velvet Buck.
Well, I mean, we could dive deeper into like more of the cookings. Like what else are we doing with this stuff? Every time I do a roast, I'm always throwing some wine in there.
Yeah.
And again, I think that fruity complex is really going to amp up any kind of roast you're going to do in the slow cooker.
Totally. And I think even like, so Central Coast, Paso Robles, San Luis Obispo, where I live, Santa Maria is not too far away. It's about 30 miles south of San Luis Obispo, and that's actually where the tri-tip roast originated.
Let's go.
And also the Santa Maria style grill, which have you ever cooked on one?
No.
So it's a wood-fired pit or charcoal, and it's got the crank, so then your grate will raise up and down.
Definitely, yeah.
But my happy place, no matter what wine it is, if it's Velvet Buck or something coming over from France, a tri-tip with salt and pepper and a mustard binder on a Santa Maria grill, that is my happy place.
Yes.
And I did have to take it for a test drive at home. So Velvet Buck and tri-tip also works.
It works. Works with beef.
That's right.
Yes. I could also see this being like a really cool marinade.
Yeah.
For some of your birds specifically.
And my feelings would never be hurt if you're cooking with Velvet Buck or using it as a marinade. I think there's a common misconception of you should be using really cheap wine with what you're cooking with. But I think whatever you're drinking should also be used in your recipe because it's really going to kind of complete that.
Well, it's
that
the flavors
arc.
are going to meld. Yeah,
Right.
It's going to be add that similarity. The cheap stuff. I mean, it's Okayest Cook, but like I definitely lean on like fancier things. Like I love good knives. I love good grills.
Well, there's a pretty sweet Benchmade booth. You got to go check out.
I saw the Benchmade booth. Yeah, we're gonna talk more. But like using a cheap wine with like a really nice cut of wild game, that's a lot of times like really hard to get. Like, it's not easy to replace if you screw it up.
Right.
So why would you like go to all this effort, like getting this wild creature on your table that's like the most beautiful flavors ever, and then just dump some $8 wine on top of it? Like, it is another ingredient. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you're just doing a disservice, I think, to your dish by using something super cheap. It's just gonna be watery. Like, it might have some decent flavors, but like once you try some good wine, like there's really no going back. It's like you're kind of spoiling yourself, and like you just can't go down once you've gone up. So, amen. That sounds like a T-shirt right there. Yeah, you should make it. Make it. But yeah, 100%. I've tried it once, and I'm a fan. I love what you guys stand for. I love everything about the wine so far. And thank you very much. And I'm not a wine guy, so I don't. Well, and I think just really my main mission with all of this is taking out all the stuffiness or unapproachability when it comes to the wine industry, because I feel like wine can be really intimidating if you don't know about it. Well, you go to the store and there's thousands of bottles. Yeah. And like, again, if you're not a snob, like, how do you know like what is what? Usually I'm on my phone Googling, and I have to Google it every single time. Like, so I'm doing a roast. What do I need? Like, what good wine goes with roasts? Right. So if the only thing I accomplish is to turn 5 people on that never would have reached for wine at the grocery store, and they buy a bottle of Velvet Buck and end up liking it, then I've won my job. Yes. And that is my mission. And, speaking of food and wine pairings, the fun leaves as soon as there's too many rules. And on our back label, it says the best pairing with Velvet Buck is wild country and fresh air. Heck yes. So, I mean, if that's all you got, then that's going to be just fine. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yeah. Love it. Where can we find you? I know you're still you're still very new. Right. So where are you guys putting yourselves? We've got very lofty goals as far as where Velvet Buck's going to end up. And again, it's only been in bottle for 8 days. Yeah. And we're off to a really hot start. I think we're going to find some really great wholesale partners in Texas. Next up will be Colorado and then Montana. Yeah. That, we have to be in. And I really hope Velvet Buck lands on the shelf around, under $20. And I hope that it's something that is pretty available. I don't want it to be retail for under $20. I think so. Oh, you could sell it for more than that. Jack up that price. We want to move bottles, and we want to raise money for BHA. In my heart, I would pay $100 for a bottle of Velvet Buck, but it's got to be something. Buy it at retail, and then spend the extra money. Yeah, donate to BHA on your own outside. There we go. Yeah, we're gonna rethink our business model here after talking to Chris. But no, I think Colorado, Texas, Montana, I think it's going to be easy to find relatively soon. Cool. But we are going to sell it on our website here in the next couple weeks. So we've been working on getting all that whole process on. I know nothing about distribution, all of that. I know Patches now, so me too. Connect with Patches. He's the man. He'll take care of you. Shout out to Patches and George's. He crushed Beer Fest. He crushed, did. Yeah, the pairings. Yeah, the pairings at the Wild Game Dinner. They were awesome. That was all him. Yeah, awesome. So honestly, I'm really excited to work with Patches and George's here in Montana. Yes, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Heck yeah. So yeah, website. What are the website, the socials? Yeah, so we'll link all that below. Yeah, the easiest way to kind of keep up with what we're doing would be on Instagram at Velvet Buck Wine, and then our website is live. It's www.velvetbuckvineyards.com. Yeah. So definitely join the mailing list, and whenever we do have updates on when you can go out and find a bottle in the wild, we will send you a message. And I think Instagram, we're putting a lot of fun stuff there. Like we're about to post a video of bottling day itself. So if you've never seen the process of how wine actually gets into a bottle with the label and the cork and the capsule, that's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, it's more than a funnel and a pitcher. We've done it that way. Yes. Yes, let's do it. Yeah. Well, definitely keep your eye on Velvet Buck. Yeah, super, super cool. I love seeing you guys in the infancy, the start. I think it's gonna be cool to watch you guys grow and expand. Thank you very much as you go. And like I said, you're connected with good people. definitely BHA is super fun connection. Definitely Meat Eater, like some really rad guys over there.
Yeah.
Rad gals too. I'm pumped to see what they want to do with the wine, because like Danielle Pruitt put some mean dishes together. Steve put some mean dishes together.
Totally. So. And I do have to give a quick shout out to the Dan Flores podcast on Meat Eater. So it's the American West podcast, and it is the untold story of the American West going back
beautiful show,
millions of years, really. And I'm really excited. Dan is going to be out to the winery in 2 weeks.
Let's go.
So very excited to meet him and kind of pick his brain a little bit more. And he has yet to try Velvet Buck, so I cannot
get that
wait.
Live reaction.
That's right. So
yes,
it's going to be fun, and just thank you so much for having us on the show.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we like talking about good things, and I think this is a good thing.
Well, I got to ask you a question before I get off.
Let's go.
Last meal, what is it?
Oh, like the very last meal
Your very last meal.
Oh, Lordy. Gosh, I mean, right now I can't stop thinking about duck breasts. So
okay.
I'm thinking about that compote we just mentioned.
Yep.
Compote, chutney. I always mix those two up. It's chutney. Chutney is with the vinegar and the fruit. Chutney. It's chutney, not compote, but I'm the Okayest Cook. Duck breast in a cast iron pan.
There we go. Quick sear.
With some Velvet Buck chutney on top of that.
There we go.
Let's go.
I'll pay you $10 once we're off air.
That's an honest review.
That's awesome,
unpaid, unsponsored.
Yep.
I like this. If I see this in the store, when it makes itself to Indiana, I'm buying a bottle every time I'm at the store.
Does.
But you said we can order from the websites.
Yeah, so we're
let's do that.
Again, less than a month, we should be live.
Let's go.
For direct purchase.
Yes.
Which is going to be awesome.
Let's do it.
I want to see this on a lot of different dinner tables, and I'm most excited to see what people end up pairing it with.
Yeah.
I hope
we need the feedback. Yeah. When you try it.
Get creative. There's no rules, and when you do mess up, you'll know. But there's only one way to find out.
And when you mess up, you try again. You don't give up. Buy another bottle.
That's right.
Support BHA, support our wild places, and try it again.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, try it a different way.
That's
Just
right.
Keep going. Keep experimenting. So, Blake, thank you so much. We got things to do here. Really appreciate your time. Appreciate what you've done. For conservation, for wine. Love it.
No, just happy to be here, and thanks again for the opportunity. And I truly hope everybody feels good about the money they spend on Velvet Buck, and I hope it's a great contribution to whatever you guys are cooking up in the future.
100%. I guarantee it'll be a great contribution.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Blake.
Appreciate it.